Welcome back to my channel, guys. So this today is going to be a review on the new Juvia's Place Warrior palette. If you guys want to see my review on this palette, make sure that you stay tuned. But first, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and hit the subscription button as well as that ring around next to it so that you can be notified whenever I post my next video. I'm talking really fast because I'm trying to get this video out the way. And yeah, if you guys want to see this review, make sure that you guys stay tuned. If you guys want to see this review, let's just jump right into it. Money, Benny. Got me in my feelings. Gotta be real with it. Okay guys, so first things first, I want to do like a different kind of review today. So as you guys know, Juvia's Place is my favorite brand ever, makeup brand ever. I love their pigment. They're super duper affordable and they haven't failed me yet. So I wanted to do I want to start a series on my channel. Every time I get a new Juvia's Place palette, I want to bring it to you guys and I want to show you guys all of the other palettes that I have from Juvia's Place. Now, even though this is one of their newer palettes, they have came out with the Afrig palette, I don't know how to say it, but their new palette, it is on the way to me. I just ordered it, so don't worry, you guys will be getting a review on that. And I know that I'm super duper late with this review, but yeah, college, you have your girl broke, so I had to wait till I got my coin up, even though that palette was super duper affordable. Yeah, so I want to show you guys like the Juvia's Place palettes and the comparisons, y'all know I can never talk, to all of their other palettes, and should you get it, should you not, is it like the other ones, if it's not. So yes, first we're going to go ahead and jump into the Warrior palette. Like I said, you guys will be getting another review really soon on the Afrig palette, the A palette they just came out with. So this is just how the Warrior palette looks. I'm pretty sure you guys have seen it. If you haven't yet, you have definitely been living under a rock. And when they first came out with this Warrior palette, I was like, do I really need it? But I'm the type of person who collects all of Juvia's Place palettes. Like the new one that they just came out with, I wasn't really feeling it. But since it's Juvia's Place, I know that I can always count on their pigments. So I got it. And I collect their palettes for a living. So hey, it is what it is. So let's jump into these swatches so you guys can see the pigment. We're going to start off with the first row. Y'all, these first three swatches got me shook. Like, every time, it's like, it shouldn't even be a surprise to me that their pigment is A1. But it's like, every time, y'all, I'm always shocked again because I love their pigmentation. Like, I love this brand so freaking much, man. Like, I'm lost for words. This is why this is my favorite brand. We're going to move on to the last row. So guys, the pigment speaks for itself. Like literally, this palette is A1, 10 out of 10, 5 stars. Go get it. So now, but you guys already knew that. So now we're going to jump into the comparison, so this video won't be super duper long. So this is just the detail of this palette and it's super duper cute, and I will be using this a lot. Like as an everyday palette, it has all of your neutral shades. So let's jump into the first palette that I ever got from Juvia's Place and that they ever came out with. It is the Nubian palette, y'all, and it's, as you guys can see, my palette is super duper dirty. So this is another palette. The first, oh, I'm getting my shirt dirty. So this palette, let me wipe these swatches off, y'all. Hold on. Okay, so this palette is another warm palette, and this was their first palette ever. So I really used to like, when I show you guys this palette, this used to be my baby, and it still is my baby. But y'all, this palette right here had everything that you needed, and it was just like my everyday palette. I hit pan on 1 or 2 of the shades, actually 2, but y'all, this palette was my freaking baby. Like, oh my goodness. So putting these two palettes side by side, of course one is bigger than the other one. The Warrior palette is bigger. yeah, I'm trying to see how I'm gonna hold these, y'all. Of course, the Warrior palette is bigger than the Nubian, but the Nubian has more shades. This one only has 6 and this one has 4, 8, 12. This one has 12 shades. So this is just a comparison. As you guys can see, there are some colors that are kind of the same, but overall I think that you definitely have some shades in this palette that you don't have in this palette, vice versa. Them 2 chocolate shades, like that chocolate shade right here and this chocolate shade at the bottom, those look kind of similar, and this brownish shade right here with this brownish shade kind of looks similar, and some of the shimmers kind of look similar as well. So the next palette that I received, well, I bought it. The next palette that I bought was the Nubian 2, and as you guys can see, definitely an upgrade from the Nubian 1. So they definitely did a dramatic change. So in the Nubian 2, you get these big shades, and I'm gonna be honest, I haven't used this palette in a while. Like, I didn't really use this palette like that. Even though the pigment is super duper great, I just did not use this palette as much. I think I'm gonna pull this back out. I need to start hitting pans on some of these palettes. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take this to my dorm room so I can use this more. But let's go ahead and compare. So definitely you have different shades, and you also have similar shades. My battery's running low, so we gotta speed this up. So this shade in the middle and this like shade right here, which is called Zuri, they kind of resemble each other, but Zuri is a little bit lighter. This shade Kenya kind of reminds me of the chocolate shade in this palette, but in this palette it's a little bit darker. But they're definitely 2 different palettes. I don't really see any resemblance other than that. So now I'm kind of going to lose like the order that they came out with, because I started getting them different times. So I'm just going to say, like, show you guys the next palette, but they're not in a particular order of when they came out. So the next palette that I think they came out with is the Saharan palette, and it's just like the Nubian palette, the Nubian 1 palette. It's the same size and everything, just different, you know, color. Actually, the Saharan palette and the Nubian are kind of the same size, but the Saharan palette is a little bit bigger. So, ooh, it's a B, guys. Ooh, shoot. Oh my gosh, it's a B. Is it on? Okay. In the Saharan palette, you have your colorful colors, and this palette is super duper pretty. I love their shimmers in this palette. Like, my hands are dirty from swatching, but this palette is super duper cute, and it was like one of their first different pretty palettes. Like, that red right there is what attracted me to buy this palette. So by just looking at this palette, I don't see any similarities. Maybe this shade right here, Singal, is like kind of this color at the top, kind of like, I can't pronounce these names on this palette. Ida, they're kind of similar, but all of the other colors, nah. Maybe Katsina and this color maybe resemble each other, but these are totally different as well. Moving on to the Saharan 2 by Juvia's. This is the first Saharan, and this is the Saharan 2. And as you guys can see, a big upgrade as well. The only problem that I had with Juvia's Place, this is one of my only palettes that came broken. I was super duper sad, but the middle shade came broke, and I just hit pan on this shade because this was one of my favorite shades ever out of this palette. But the middle shade did come broke. I emailed them, they didn't really say anything. It was what it was. But when I had ordered the Dulce palette, which you guys will see in a minute, they actually sent me the Zulu palette, but I had already had the Zulu palette, and I was like, hey, I emailed them, I was like, hey, I didn't order the Zulu palette. I ordered the Dulce palette. They kindly sent me a Dulce palette and they said I could keep the Zulu palette. So I'm just going to keep that palette for a giveaway one day whenever I hit my 1K. Ooh, rapper bars. So yeah, I'm just going to save that palette for one of you guys because it is completely new. I haven't used it and I actually love the Zulu palette. Anyways, this is the Saharan 2. Like I said, it did come broke, but this is just what this palette looks like. So these two are actually the same size. Yeah, they're actually the same size and they have different colors. I don't see anything that matches. They have definitely different color schemes. Next palette is the Festival palette, and this is also one of their new palettes too. This one just came out as well and I actually love it. I love this palette. I love it, love it, love it, like seriously. This palette is also the same size as the Warrior palette and they don't really have any similarities. This shade right here at the bottom could probably be a match with like this shade where my pinky is at, Amina. They probably could be similar, but those are totally different as well. So none of these palettes really resemble the Warrior palette other than the Nubian so far. Next we have one of my all-time favorites, the Zulu, and y'all, this palette has been put to work. Even though it may not look like it, I use this a lot. Like, I love this orange shade right here. I love it, I love it, I love it. So they are also the same size. Not seeing any comparisons. Nah, I don't really see any comparisons. This is more of a colorful palette and this is more of your everyday palette. Now we're on to the Dulce palette. I don't really use this one as much either. I'm probably gonna take this one too because I don't really use this palette and I think I probably use this like once, honestly. Yeah, I probably use this once, so I need to get into this palette. But this is one of those odd palettes that I didn't like understand the color arrangement, but of course I got it because I did like this purple and this mint green. Like that's fire. So this is the same 6 size palette as well. I'm sorry, 9. If I've been saying 6, I'm an idiot. This is definitely 9, Kirrah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is definitely 9. I don't see any similarities in this palette either. Maybe this chocolate color, and it's called chocolate, and this one. But this one is more like a chocolate black. Like, I don't know if you guys can tell. This one looks definitely deeper, and this one looks a little bit more chocolatey. Chocolatey. Okay, so one of their bigger palettes is the Masquerade palette, and it's just a colorful palette. Looks like this. I don't really use my Juvia's Place palettes like that anymore since it's been like so much new makeup coming out. I need to get back into my Juvia's Place palettes for real. So it's definitely some similarities with the neutral colors at the bottom. They definitely kind of remind me of this palette. So yeah, I see a couple of dupes in this palette. I'm not going to point out all of them because it is definitely a lot of shades in this palette. But that palette has some dupes from the Warrior palette. And y'all, my all-time favorite Juvia's Place palette ever, my favorite, my most favorite palette is the Magic palette. I love this palette. Like, this palette right here is my baby. Like, I don't use it a lot, but the colors in here is super duper cute. Like, I need to get into this palette some more, but this palette is so freaking stunning, y'all. Okay, so this is definitely big. This color Nana and this color Cano kind of remind me of each other. So this color right here and then this color, they kind of remind me, but they're off a bit. And other than that, nope, don't see any resemblance. So definitely I would say Juvia's Place palettes are definitely different from the other ones. In some you have pops of colors, and some you have your neutrals. It's definitely some shades that kind of look like what's in the Warrior palette, but all in all it is definitely different, and I feel like that's a win. Like if you hit pan on one palette, you know that you can always go to your other palette and get like sort of kind of that kind of shade that kind of look like that. And I said kind of like 200 times. But yes, I definitely say go get this Warrior palette because the pigmentation is amazing. Like go pick up all of Juvia's Place palettes, especially now that they're in Ulta. Like yes, go get them. So yes, if you guys enjoyed this type of video, make sure that you give me a big thumbs up. I definitely will be doing this again as soon as my Afrique palette come in the mail. Afrique, however you say it, as soon as that palette comes in the mail. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys so much for coming back to my channel, and I definitely will catch you guys in the next one. Bye. Mwah.